Welcome to Mock Mock, where I take a look at someone else's mock draft and I'm mocking, give you my views, thoughts, and opinions. I got a great one for you today because we're going to travel over to PFF, take a look at Trevor Sikkema from the NFL Stock Exchange and his mock drafts. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker with pick one. The New Orleans Saints take Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama. Listen, Saints fans, you can talk about trading out of this pick all you want. If they're picking first overall, it's probably Tyler Shough looked terrible. He looked bad. So there is going to be reason. There's going to be skepticism. So maybe we should just go ahead and draft our next guy. So you're just going to see that that's going to be a popular mock among people. Just Saints, first overall, quarterback. Ty Simpson being the first one off the board is indeed interesting. He's coming off a couple of games where I would say the downfield production isn't all that, but they face some formidable defenses with South Carolina being one of them. But golly, they take on LSU this weekend. That's going to be a awesome game, or at least as far as the defense, the LSU defense versus the Alabama offense. But Simpson, he might not have the biggest arm in this class, but it's a good arm. Don't get me wrong. It's a good arm. How he operates the offense, you would think this man has been a starter for the Crimson Tide for at least the last 2 years, if not 3. But no, first year starter, and he looks already pretty well put together. So yeah, I mean, there is reason why some people would take Simpson over, I imagine the other two options are Fernando Mendoza, Indiana, Dante Moore, Oregon. Let's move on. Tennessee tight ends. They take Ruben Bain Jr. He is the edge out of Miami. Tight end, I kind of prefer the Titans to take something offensively to help Cam Ward. But if you just want to take the top prospect in the draft class that's not a quarterback, then okay, yeah, Ruben Bain, that makes sense. They need pass rush. So yeah, I'm cool with that. Let's move on to pick 3, New York Jets. They are going to go Dante Moore, quarterback out of Oregon. So they are going to indeed move on, get their franchise quarterback. They have another pick in this draft after the Sauce Gardner trade. So stay tuned. And they have 3 picks next year. That's the only thing that gives me pause. Like, okay, if we're really going to just lay it into this rebuild, maybe go out, find a reclamation project, get it. You already did business with the Colts. See what it might take to get Anthony Richardson and plug him in and see what you got. Worst case scenario, you're going to draft early in 2027 and draft hopefully the guy. So I would be looking for some sort of reclamation project just to give them a swing at quarterback, and maybe you hit, maybe you don't. But to me, if I'm the Jets, this season's already dead. It's lost. I don't mind throwing away next season potentially either. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, man. The Jets now have a lot of options with so much draft capital. Next is my Miami. Oh my gosh, my Miami Dolphins take Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. Well, sorry, Cleveland. I wonder if they will end up with a quarterback in this. But Fernando Mendoza for the Dolphins. I don't know what's going to happen with our head coach. We already know we're getting a GM. Mendoza, you won't have to start right away, because I think financially we kind of have to keep Tua for next season. You can have them battle out in camp. Tua ends up being the starter, then cool, that's fine. We could sit Mendoza, wait till he's ready, and then move off of Tua after next year. And that also allows us to put some pieces, have 2 years to put pieces together to make sure this time our quarterback will succeed. The Dolphins kind of failed at that with the offensive line. But yeah, I'm not opposed to a quarterback. Would I want quarterback 3 in this class? No, I think at this point it's just like, let's look to 2027 to maybe get that quarterback. Instead, maybe let's just get Tua some help. But it's an interesting thought. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. Pick 5, New York Jets. They're going to go with Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of Arizona State. You get to pair him up with Malik Neighbors. Instantly give your franchise quarterback in Jackson Dart a very, very sexy pair of wide receivers. 2 top 5 wide receivers. So yeah, I'm getting, whoa, hold on. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure Malik Neighbors was the 5th overall pick. So that's kind of funny. Both 5th overall picks in this scenario, in this case. So yeah, I'm all on board with that. I can see going with maybe if Ruben Bain is available here, or if Caleb Downs is here, sure. But I guess Ruben Bain won't make sense because you took an edge last year in Abdul Carter. So really, it's just like Caleb Downs, but I would help my franchise quarterback. Cleveland Browns, no quarterback on the board for them. They're going to go with Spencer Fano, tackle out of Utah. The offensive line is going to be radically different for the Cleveland Browns. There's going to be some turnover there. I think all of their interior players are free agents. Jack Conklin can't stay healthy. DeJuan Jones went down with injury, matter of fact, this year, his 2nd consecutive year. So that whole offensive line could literally shift. And I mean, it really felt like it happened so quickly because like the Browns had one of the best offensive lines in football, and then just suddenly, oh, this is no longer a strength for us. This is actually a problem. So I wonder if the Browns with the Jaguars pick, they maybe shoot on quarterback. Who that may be, I guess we'll see. I mean, Lenore Sellers, probably. But I think maybe in this, they just go with a wide receiver, or maybe they just go elsewhere and just be like, well, we missed out on quarterback. Is what it is. Pick 7, Las Vegas Raiders go with Arvell Reese. Oh, and Trevor's, he's listing him as an edge. Dude, I think that's the path in terms of Arvell Reese. I talked about it earlier today with my my top 150 big board. I had Reese inside my top 10. I said the only reason that's the case is because, well, he may be a hybrid player, but we're going to be rushing the passer a lot with him. And because to me, I don't know. I don't think I'd be taking a linebacker in the top 10. I don't think there will be a prospect good enough for me to take a linebacker in the top 10 unless they have that pass rushing upside. And Reese does have that to where maybe he could do it in the NFL. He will have sub 33-inch arms, but he makes up for it by just the combination of power and explosiveness. And I mean, with the Raiders, along at edge right now, it's just Mason Crosby. Max Crosby. I said Mason Crosby. Oh, excuse me. All right, Cincinnati Bengals, they go Peter Woods. You already got Ruben Bain off the board. Your defensive line in general just doesn't have a star player. And sorry, Trey Hendrickson, I don't think you're going to be there. I should say sorry, Bengals fans. I don't think he's going to be there next year. So you could go for the edge here. Peter Woods is a blue chip talent, in my opinion. Just an elite athlete at that position. He would help. Before we get to the next pick, I want to talk about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Download the app, sign up with promo code Broshmo, and they match that first deposit up to $1,000 dues. It's a fun way to play, whether it's best ball or pick'ems. And pick'ems, you can mix and match with some of your favorite NFL props, or you could do NHL, you could do NBA, MLB. When it comes back around, you can do that. They'll have different props up for the NFL Combine. They got a ton of fun ways to play. On top of that, they do promos each and every day. So Underdog Fantasy, they got you covered, especially if you sign up using promo code BROSHMO, but play responsibly and play within your means. Pick 9, Washington Commanders get Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. How far can Caleb Downs fall just because he's a safety? That is the age-old question. I don't think he falls out of the top 10, but never say never. The Commanders, I wasn't sold on Will Harris. He got, I think, banged up. They need someone next to Quan Martin. Downs would be perfect for that. This is a team, honestly, I think if you're the Commanders, you need to trade down, acquire more picks, because this is a team, one of the older teams in the NFL that just doesn't have a lot of draft capital. And they kind of need to get younger. And how do you get younger? Through the draft. Pick 10, Baltimore Ravens go with David Bailey, edge out of Texas Tech. I like it. Makes sense to me. They need pass rush desperately. So much so they went out and got Draymond Jones, but he's a one-year rental. Having Bailey, pairing him up with Mike Green. Hopefully Mike Green takes a step forward. And maybe you're going to be feeling good about your pass rush, or you're just hoping that one of those guys hits and hits big. I like Bailey quite a bit. He's my edge too currently. This is the Los Angeles Rams pick via the Atlanta Falcons. They go with Mansour Delane, corner out of LSU. Yep, corner, kind of a big need. Roger McCreary will be a free agent who they just traded for. So does he end up being a one-year rental? If he plays well, I think he'll probably get re-signed. But corner is such a volatile position. You kind of want to keep swinging at it, keep adding parts to that room, just to make sure you got quality pieces there. Mansour Delane has been phenomenal this season. I think it'd be a good fit. Arizona Cardinal. Oh, this is interesting. He's going to go with Vega Yawane out of Penn State, the guard. This is the highest I've seen him go. Ooh, I don't mind it. Isaiah Adams has been meh. I think I'd rather take a shot on Francis Maui-Noah, bring him in, because you could always upgrade Jonah Williams as well. And I think Jonah Williams is a free agent anyway this season. So bring in Maui-Noah and okay, let's figure out, is he a tackle or a guard? Regardless, he's going to help us out on that right side of the offensive line. Cardinals, though, I mean, shoot, they could be in the quarterback market this year too. Pick 13. We got the Houston Texans going with Francis Maui-Noah, offensive tackle out of Miami. The U. This is my tackle one. He might not have ideal length, but he's a great athlete. The Texans just need good players along this offensive line, and Maui-Noah is indeed a good player. Dallas Cowboys go with Jermod McCoy, corner out of Tennessee. So they took oh gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Siobhan Revel out of ECU, who was coming off his own ACL injury. Of course, he got that later in the process. Right now with McCoy, he got that in January. We're just waiting to see if he comes back and plays, and athletically looks like the same guy. But I guess having a couple of guys that have had ACL injuries in the cornerback room doesn't feel great. But there's no arguing McCoy would probably be the corner one for a lot of, well, he was corner one for mostly everybody entering the season. And now he just kind of gets knocked down just because, well, we haven't seen him play. We're going to be higher on the players that we have seen play. But dude, he's a top 20, borderline top 10 pick if everything checks out and he comes back and looks the same. Minnesota Vikings are going to go with Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. I mean, hey, a good run game will help JJ McCarthy. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are both under contract for the 2026 season. Love, I get it. He's kind of a tough player to project if it's not the Bears. Maybe you go Texans, maybe you go Cardinals with him. But Vikings, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. Granted, you could be like, well, Mason and Jones haven't really produced. Jones has been hurt, but the offensive line has been hurt, and that's going to affect the run game mightily. So I'm kind of on the fritz about Jeremiah Love for the Vikings. Carolina Panthers go with Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. So maybe you move on from Xavier Legette at this point. Going with Carnell Tate, who, hey, he's in my top 10 in terms of prospects. He would actually be a pretty solid complement to Tetairoa McMillan. I typically like going pass rush. But hey, man, the Panthers, they keep throwing pieces around Bryce Young, hoping it'll work. Maybe it will one day. Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to go defensive line, edge. TJ Parker out of Clemson. Parker, again, I think you're going to find a lot of people like but don't love Parker. High floor player, checks a lot of boxes. Just there's not that one trait that he could hang his hat on. But I mean, he would fall in line for a Spagnuolo defense. The defensive line, if you can bring some more guys into there, kind of be nice. I think low key, the Chiefs have a lot more needs going into next off season than you may think, because a lot of their corners are going to be free agents. Then again, they did get Noel Williams in the last draft cycle. You can look to replacing Jawan Taylor, getting something better there. Travis Kelce, he doesn't really have an heir apparent. No, Gray's fine as a tight end too, but you probably want more. Running back could be on the table. Like the Chiefs, still a great team. Don't get me wrong. As long as you got Mahomes, I think, hey, anything could happen. They got a very good wide receiver room as well with Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. But if you look at the roster as a whole, it's like, okay, yeah. There's some work that's going to need to be done. Chicago Bears are going to go with Cassius Howell, edge / linebacker. Going to list him as a linebacker here. Out of Texas A&M. I'm going to read this real quick. Howell has been one of the best pass rushers in the country this season, though his arm length is reported to come in well short of NFL standards. That hasn't stopped him from producing. Okay, so we're just going to glaze him. That's fine. Really good player there. And Howell, as far as the Dennis Allen defense doesn't really fit the profile for a pass rusher, that's why I'm like, okay, you list him at linebacker. You plan on him playing more off ball then, if you were to be drafted by the Bears. Like, I think Bears should address the trenches. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Pick 19. You got Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington, going to the Browns. I guess they got Cedric Tillman, but he's kind of struggled with concussions. He would be something a bit different than what they currently have. Again, outside of Tillman, but again, Tillman needs to be on the field more. If you're not going to get your quarterback this year, I mean, if you start to assemble parts and pieces for whoever that franchise signal caller may be, to come in and be like, okay, well, at least I got some support around me, then I don't mind that. I like Washington quite a bit too. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to go with Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. I love me Makai Lemon. I think he would be a good addition here to be the running mate there with DK Metcalf. I would say at this juncture, it looks like we're not going to get that next quarterback off the board. I think, again, you never know what may happen. But I love Lemon. Again, another guy that's a top 10 prospect in this class to me. I'm a sucker for yards after the catch, and he is Mr. Yards after the catch. Pick 21. Detroit Lions go with Keldrick Falk. Edge out of Auburn. I think you transition this guy to the interior, but you don't necessarily have to. And there are a few cases, a few teams, a few schemes that would keep him out on the edge just because they like big, thick edge rushers. And I think Dan Campbell and the squad are one of those teams that like that. You could also look to the Kansas City Chiefs. You could look to the Washington Commanders and such. They like a certain build when it comes to their edge players. And Falk would check that box. He gets to play across from Aiden Hutchinson. So even if his pass rush isn't the most developed, he ought to be pretty productive just because of all the attention Aiden Hutchinson is going to garner. Los Angeles Chargers go with Caden McDonald, defensive interior at Ohio State. So you get an elite run defender here. The pass rush upside, I think it's a little bit better than Talik Williams, who was drafted in the first round last year at Ohio State. But someone that could be a 3-down player while just kind of being a run stuffer in the middle of that defense, I think that works out for the Chargers. Trenches could be the spot for the Chargers, whether it's offensively or perhaps on the interior, depending on if they retain Odafe Owe, who's I think has played pretty well for them. San Francisco 49ers go with Joshua Josephs. Okay. Edge out of Tennessee. Ridiculous wingspan on this dude. You're going to add him there with Mikael Williams and Nick Bosa, who's coming off the injury. So maybe another reason why you go out and get another edge rusher. You're not sure how good Bosa will be once he returns initially. But maybe this is a plan for the future. I would get in on some of the tackles here. I love Trevor Gooseby. The Caden Proctor, I'd give a shot. If he ends up being a guard, then fine, whatever. We could use a guard. I would look to the offensive line specifically, especially how the board has fallen. Dallas Cowboys, they took Mansour Delane early on, and they're going to be taking R. Mason Thomas, edge out of Oklahoma, getting a boy that can absolutely fly. We once had a guy who didn't have great arm length, but golly, he was the most disruptive pass rusher I don't want to say ever had, but one of the most disruptive pass rushers in the league, if not the most disruptive. Now you kind of get a young nucleus of guys like Donovan Ezeraku and now R. Mason Thomas, who, okay, we've taken a couple of shots at the dartboard. Something's got to stick. Buffalo Bills, they're going to go with Colton Hood, corner out of Tennessee. So another corner, I mean, this is interesting. You feel like maybe you kick, well, whether if you do take a Colton Hood, you kick Hood into the slot, or you kick probably Maxwell makes a little bit more sense, Maxwell Harrison. But move on from Taron Johnson. I mean, yeah, I think there's a world that this can happen. This makes sense. I mean, double dipping at corner in back-to-back years. Sure, the fan base won't love it, but hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Oh, wow. Seattle Seahawks are going to take Jennings Dunker. Plays right tackle at Iowa. Will be a guard in the NFL. Shoot, dude. That's actually fascinating. Here, I want to pull something up because they just got Christian Haynes back. And I'm curious. Because Zabel's been playing guard for them. Here, I'm taking a look at the roster right now. Yeah, and Sundell's been okay at center, actually. So you're really looking to replace Anthony Bradford, who has been bad. Maybe when Christian Haynes gets there, he can challenge and maybe play better. But as of right now, yeah, the right guard position is kind of opened. That's perfect. Jennings doesn't have to flip sides. You could say on the right side. If you want to get that run game, if you believe you got some horses at tailback, but you just don't have the offensive line to facilitate a run game, then okay, go for it. Send it. Why not? Win in Rome. I mean, dude, Kenneth Walker's going to be a free agent this year, and I don't know how much faith I have Zach Charbonnet. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I think run back could be, I'm not saying at this pick, but run back they're going to be in the run back market this year. I don't know if that happens in free agency with like a low cost player, or if they do that in the draft. Because if I'm being honest, this isn't the draft to really do that at running back. There's a couple of guys, but nothing that really blows your socks off. Pick 27, Caleb Lomu, tackle out of Utah, going to the Rams. Personally, I would take the stab at Trevor Gooseby, because with Lomu, you're going to have to move him to the right side, because I imagine you're looking for your heir apparent to Rob Havenstein. And Gooseby has played both left and right tackle. Lomu has been strictly a left tackle. I have Gooseby higher anyway. I don't think Trevor's that high on Gooseby anyway, so it's like, okay, whatever. To each their own. But I wouldn't mind this haul for the Rams. Really wouldn't. I mean, that kind of feels like the two places to go, tackle and then tackle in corner. Denver Broncos, they get Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. You get to reunite him and Bo Nix. You get a playmaker at tight end. Evan Ingram, I think, started the year hurt, and he's been here and there. Adam Troutman's never going to be the guy. So, yeah, Denver Broncos, I think the Bucks, and even the Chiefs are going to be your popular landing spots for Kenyon Sadiq. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go with Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. Get your heir apparent for Levante David, and someone who in the intermediate, while David's still playing, can play next to him, because golly, Servassier Denise has not been great this season. So this is the year to take linebacker. It's a really good linebacker class. New England Patriots take Austin Serafeld, tackle out of Ohio State. Let me read this, because I haven't watched him personally, at least for an eval, quite yet. So Serafeld, hopefully I'm saying that right, might be in the conversation to move to guard due to the lack of arm length. Welcome to this draft class at tackle. Sure, yeah, let's give you a shot at OT, but you lack ideal length, might mean you're a guard in the NFL. But yeah, man, giving him a little first round love is interesting. I still think Patriots are going to go defensive heavy, just because Mike Vrabel, it's like, come on, I let you go last year and get pieces for Drake May. Let me have my Christmas. Let me go window shopping. Not just window shopping. I want to go in the store and pick my defensive players. Let me do that. Philadelphia Eagles go with Caden Proctor. And it looks like Trevor's going to have him playing guard for Philadelphia. Be the replacement there probably, or looking to maybe upgrade there over, I believe it's Tyler Steen, who's played all right, actually. He's actually played pretty solid. I don't think you'd be looking at Landon Dickerson, though. I mean, he's been banged up. He feels like he gets banged up a lot. But also, you can maybe try to develop Proctor into being the heir apparent to Lane Johnson. So there's a few factors that go into this one that I think come into play, that it's not just, oh, maybe he's a guard for us, but we're going to try him at tackle. New York Jets, they're going to go with, Christian Miller. Defensive interior out of Georgia. I mean, they did just trade Quinnen Williams. The defense is now going to be in rehabilitation mode as they traded away probably their 2 best players. So they want to go for corner. They probably need to. They can go for defensive interior. It kind of depends on what the class presents to him. Christian Miller, he's my defensive interior too. I love the build, good play strength, good athlete. Kind of gives me a Walter Nolan vibe, but I think Walter Nolan was a bit more violent and disruptive. But Miller, I think, just coming from Georgia, at the high end, at his floor, he's going to be a solid run defender. And to be fair, this last month, I think things have started to click with him as a pass rusher. But there it is, man. There's your post-trade deadline mock the mock. Thank you to Trevor Sikkema. He does great work both at PFF and at the NFL Stock Exchange. That's with Connor Rogers, by the way, if you didn't know. So check them out. They do great work. I love Trev. Not on top of being the nicest human being possible. Really, if you've checked out their channel, you're like, wow, he seems like a nice guy. When you actually get a chance to talk to him or meet him in person, he's even nicer. It's a little disgusting. But yeah, if you haven't checked out his work, he does great work for the draft. I've followed him since the Draft Network. So check him out. But as always, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.